understanding the stakeholders, like who is the user, not just if I was the user what I would want, but who is the user, what is your target audience for it. It involves 4 simple questions: who is affected, what is the problem, where does it happen, and why does it matter. So who is affected is again understanding the demographic and the persona, the motivation and reason for being in the situation of using the application. What is the problem includes what are the struggles, the task that needs to be accomplished, and the point that needs to be relieved. Where does it happen is what context in which the user experiences the problem. Is it physical or a digital space, and who else is involved in it? Now, why does it matter is understanding why the problem is worth solving and what value it brings to the user and what value it brings to the business. After you've understood who the user is and what the user feels, you begin to ideate about how your solution is supposed to be framed. Now, this ideation phase, the third step in the problem statement analysis, includes different ways of understanding and listing down the features of your hypothetical product. You can use multiple methods of finding, like of visualizing these ideas through analogies, which is basically comparing the problem you have to something you've already solved, through body storming, which is to physically experience what the user is going to experience while going through the application, through brainstorming, which is one of the oldest tricks in the book, just sitting down in a group and talking about what you can do to solve the issue that you have. And there are so many other techniques like storyboarding, mind mapping, reverse thinking. That is, how would you do the opposite of the problem and then flipping that over to get a solution. After you have a concrete idea with you at hand, you go for prototyping. Now, prototyping is basically a scaled down version of your product, a simulation or a sample version that enables you to test your ideas and designs before investing time and money into actually developing the product. So they can vary in forms of form, fidelity, interactivity, and lifestyle. So form is like, is the prototype hand drawn on paper, or is it a digital one? Is it for mobile? Is it for desktop? Then fidelity is how detailed and polished your prototype is. So depending on the scale of your project, your fidelity for your prototype will differ. So low fidelity would be just the basic, very necessary features only. High fidelity would be something very close to the final product that it's supposed to look like. Interactivity is how functional is your prototype. Can the user click with it and interact with it, or is it just like an image that can be viewed? And then lastly, you have the life cycle, which is the prototype quick disposable version that can be replaced by a new version? Or is it more enduring creation that can be built and improved upon and potentially end up as the final product itself? So is it temporary, or is this what you're going to use finally? Now, the prototyping also includes like clickable wireframes and paper prototyping, which is, we'll show you what clickable wireframes are and how to go about it in Figma soon. So you'll get a more idea of that then. But paper prototyping is basically just making a design of what you want the final product to look like on paper. So that is very low fidelity and obviously doesn't have much interactivity either. And obviously doesn't have much of a life cycle, because it's just to visualize the product on paper. And finally, after you have a working prototype in hand, a simulation of what your product is supposed to look like, you can test it out by working with the developers or with users to see how can this be turned into the final product. Now, Aaron will take over.
Yeah. Hello guys. So Aaron here. Thank you, Anushri, for that wonderful introduction. So so now next let's like take a look into what the design process is. Okay. So throughout this meeting, we're gonna tell you certain trade secrets or some like in that sense. So you get to learn a lot if you pay close attention and try to also follow along with what's being done. Okay, so basically the design process consists of like 4 phases. The first phase is user research. The second phase is wireframing. The third phase is front and color selection, font and color selection. And number 4 is designing. That is the high fidelity model. So let's look at each one of these in detail. So the first one is user research. So what is user research? So basically, in user research, we try to answer three questions: what do the users need? What are the users struggling with? And how can you help your users? Okay, so these are three things. So user research is actually very important because you need to first understand what your user needs, the user requirements, what the user is expecting, and what will make the user happy, and what will annoy him or irritate him in the design. So this is very important in terms of UI UX design. So this user research can be done in three ways, which is one is interviews, then we have forms or questionnaires, and we also have surveys. So these are like three ways in which we can conduct user research. I have something to show you also. We'll be looking at throughout this process. We'll be looking at a particular a project. So this project is basically a fitness model. Okay, so we want a fitness and health and fitness app. So we're going to design this health and fitness app together. Okay, so we'll go through the design process together. So we'll first look at the user research of how to do it. So the first thing that we could do is look at our competitors. Okay, so go through Play Store and stuff like that, and look at different apps that offer the same functionalities that you're trying to implement. Okay, so for example, ours is a health and fitness app. So let's look at the top recommendations from Play Store. So one is Google Fit. So we can see some of I've taken screenshots of their functionalities and their UI, and just take the screenshots and put it in your Figma file. Once you have all the screenshots, you can move on to the next one. For example, I've taken Cult Fit, which I got in the next of my recommendation. So I've pasted those screenshots as well. So now after you paste these screenshots, you have to analyze their functionalities. What are they offering, and what can you include in your UI UX? What can you include in your application design? That will also make that you can that'll also make the users happy and stuff like that. So from this we can see that they have a journal, they have a profile page. So a journal, basically you can add personal records and personal notes and stuff like that. You have a metric over here, so you have a goal, your daily goals and your weekly targets and stuff like that. You can add activities, for example, running, walking, etc. Then what else do we have here? Oh, yeah, this is something, there's something called gamification in when you come to UI UX, and when making apps, where you try to make the application like a game. So that really helps the user because it increases interest of the user to use the application. So that's one thing that they have used over here. So you can score hard points and you can choose daily goals and that stuff like that. In Cult Fit, we can see that it's more workout centric, I would say. So you have videos, you have your diet, you have exercise videos, you have also testimonials. You can post your how your journey in the fitness realm is. So that's one thing that you can get from this Cult Fit. So these are some things that we got from these two apps, right, that we want to include in us. So next we'll select a design language. What do you want your app to look like? Okay, so I've pasted some screenshots over here. So basically these are some good interfaces that I liked. So let's go for a bit this style of design. So now once you've understood these what the other apps are offering, we will so these are some of the functionalities that the apps are offering. I've just jotted them down into points. So you have tracking metrics, goal setting, diet planning, video tutorials, gamification, health community interaction, barcode scanner for nutrient information, social sharing, etc. So these are what we've got from the existing ones, right? Then you can also try and add your own ideas into this to make it more unique. So for example, barcode scanner is not something that we saw over here, right? And so similarly, you can keep on adding more stuff over here. Then the most important thing is the main part of UX research is understanding what the user wants in terms of your own application. So what we have done is made a Google form. Okay, so this is a Google form. As I said, one of the ways in which you can conduct user research is through forms. So this is a Google form in which we ask them basically what would they like to see in the application. If it's a health and fitness application, what would they like to see? Would you like to see health community interaction? Would you like to see gamification, video tutorials, and all of those things that I included in this list? I have put it over here. And we have got their pie chart values, which is if they're not interested, or if they think that's not needed at all. If they think I wouldn't mind it, but it's not like completely necessary, or wow, that could be actually useful, or they think it's an absolute must. So based on this, you can divide your requirements into passive attractions, not needed, and user absolutes. So that's what we have done here. So we have added stuff so basically these are the things that we want to focus on in our application. These are things that we want to add but not lay complete focus on. And so these are the things that also we would like to implement, but they're not like completely necessary. And these are things that we can leave. Like if you're going for a quick design, we don't have to like include it. So this is the basics of UX research, UI UX research. So this is really important. This is like one of the most important crucial parts of UI UX designing, because without doing this, if we directly start our design, we may have to make a lot of changes later on based on the user requirements, right? So understanding user requirements is very important. So this is number one. So that is user research. I hope you all got that, and I hope you all are like following. Next is wireframing. So wireframing is another very important phase in UI UX designing. So wireframing is basically a way to design a website service at a structural level. Okay. So a wireframe is commonly used to lay out content and functionality on a page, which takes into account user needs and user journeys. Wireframe are used in early development stages to establish the basic structure of the page before visual design and content is added. Okay. So basically, what is a wireframe? If you ask me, it is just like you can make it on pen and paper, or you can make it like on Figma itself. You just need to use like no colors, just no icons, no images, nothing. Just make a rough sketch of what you're going to propose, right? So because that rough sketch has to be verified by if you're working in a team, then your design manager, product manager, your manager, or for example the developers that are developing something, you want to have like this interaction with them. Do I include this or not? This is my idea, I am including it. Are you okay with it? Will you be able to implement it? Right? You want to like get that clear first before going further into the implementation phase. Because once you completely design the app and then the developer or someone says that this is not implementable, or this will be very difficult for us, or this is out of scope from what we want to make, then it'll be a very difficult task to change everything. So wireframing is very important. So I'll give you an example of wireframing. So this is, for example, we are going to make a health and fitness app, right? So from what we have seen, from what we have done in our user research, this is like a small, quick wireframe that you could make. This is just a wireframe. So there's no colors, there's no what do you call images, no nothing. Okay, so there'll be just where you want to place what and how you want the navigation to be. So you have a username. You want a username to be here. Level. So level includes gamification. You want to like show the person that he's at a certain level and he's being promoted every time he crosses his goals or achieves goals and stuff like that. Barcode scanner could be here. A checklist based on what all you have done could be here. And this is your account which you're currently using. So percentage your goal, so that you can always keep an eye on your goal. Your current work plan which you're working on right now. Recommended work plan based on what your interests are. Then this is basic navigation. So navigation is very important. So this is what a wireframe does. Okay, so basically you have to make what I did here for one screen. You got to make it for all the screens throughout your application, right? And you got to like explain how the navigation and how stuff like that works. That is what is the most important part of this. So like if you click home, this is the home page. So if you click diet, you'll go to a diet page which will have respective functionalities. If you click the work, it will go to a workout page. So work is actually abbreviation for workout because there was no space over here, so that's what I did. Yeah, so if you click that, then how it will go and how you'll come back, and like there has to be an exit plan for each and every screen. There has to be motivation to click each and every button and stuff like that, which we will talk about in detail soon. And yeah, so this is basically a wireframe. So that's one example of a wireframe. So I hope that's clear too. Next we have okay. So now we're moving on to high fidelity design. So we're done with the low fidelity design, which is basically just colorless and to explain what our app is going to do, what app is going to look like for verification, right? So that everyone in the team is like um, on one plane with the project. So then comes color selection. So now we need to add color, we need to add fonts, we need to select fonts, we need to select colors, etc. for our application, for our design, right? So actually color selection, it may not look like it, but it's actually very, very, very important. Okay, so which colors you choose and how they go together with each other is very important. So there's something in color selection which is known as color psychology in color theory. So it's very important. Actually, it's difficult to explain the whole thing, but I have put a slide for it. We'll get to that soon. Okay. So color selection is actually very important. Each color stirs up a distinct image or feeling in the viewer. This can be applied to the design. Colors can speak in ways that are every bit as powerful as language. So they can reflect the personality of your brand, they can attract users, and they can better communicate your message. Okay, so colors are very important. So for example, let me show you this. Okay, so this is like for our health and fitness app. If I make this as my profile page, it doesn't look that good, right? Because the colors are completely off. Like they don't go well together. They have no like they're not chosen with any uh, like standards kept in mind and stuff like that. So this is what you will like get an output as, but this is not what we want. So we have certain shortcuts for that, and I will lead you throughout all of this. So keep noting it down. So color psychology. So this is like a very important thing. So basically, different colors, they signify different moods, or they what do you call, instigate different feelings in a person when they see a color. So for example, red gives you excitement, strength, love, energy, and orange gives you confidence, success, bravery, sociability, etc. So we have all these colors that signify certain feelings. So what you can do is select a particular color based on your application, and then base your other colors based on that particular one selected color. So for example, in our fitness app, since we're making a fitness app, let me say I'll go with blue because I want to show competence and I want to show loyalty and trust and stuff like that. I want to give that feeling to the user. So once I select blue as my primary color or something like that, then what I can do is, if I'm finding it hard to choose different colors that go with blue, I have a website over here. I'll put that link in the description. So I'll just put that in the description. Just a sec. Yeah, so that's the website. That's called Color Hunt. Okay, so basically, if you go to Color Hunt and you put, for example, one color, then you can like get all the recommended colors that you can choose that go along with that color. So I'll show you, for example. Let's quickly go to it. Just a sec. Yeah, so this is colorhunt.io, the link that I shared right now. So for example, if I go blue, because I selected blue as my primary color, so I'll select blue as a tag, and I have all of these like color schemes that incorporate blue into the color, into their scheme, right? So I can choose any one of these, and using them in the appropriate places is like will come with practice, and it'll come with more learning and stuff like that. But these are colors that go well together. So you can make use of this website. It's really good. I use it like mostly all the time. That's one thing. So, and there's a lot more about color theory and a lot more about color psychology than what meets the eye, right? So I have another link over here that I'll quickly share with you all, so you can check it out in your free time. So that's color psychology. So basically, if you go to this website, you can get to know everything about how color psychology impacts a person, and when to choose what color. Right, so there's a reason why I chose like blue for this app, and and also the colors that I chose with it would be like maybe green and stuff like that. From Color Hunt, I chose because green signifies naturality and freshness. So when you're feeling like when you're doing workout and all, you want to like get the feeling of freshness, and you want to feel like like in a natural environment compared to stuff like that. So this is the color scheme that we have chosen for this application that we're going to design. We have green, a bit of like dirty green, and we have blue and white. So white is like clean, simplicity, and innocence, etc. So we want to keep our app clean. We don't want to like give it a lot of background color. So as we can see in this, there's a lot of stuff going on. So we want to like reduce that, make it simple, make it clean. Cool. Then comes typography. Typography is basically just choosing the fonts. That is also very important. So there are basically like fonts are divided into serif and sans serif. More in detail into that, you can look up, like you can look up that on the net. Choosing fonts is very important because they also convey like a message to the user when they're using it. So that is choosing fonts. So the font that we will choose for this project would be Satoshi, because it's a very good font. It's a sans serif font, so it is actually good. I liked it. It has a correct balance between being formal and being casual. So it's good. So yeah, let's start designing. So I think we are done with this. So I think Anushri will take you through the design process of the first screen, and then we'll meet soon again. Yeah, Anushri, you can take over.
Yeah. So for the first screen that we're going to design, we're going to be designing a sign-in page for the app. One second. Let me just share my screen. Yes. So for the sign-in screen, the first thing we have to decide is our frame. So the frame is basically what the boundaries of your design are going to be like, and what kind of application, or what is your target device that you want your application to fit in. So you can have the app work on desktop, like if you're designing a website or something like that, or if in our case we're designing an application, so we'll go for a phone wireframe to start, like a phone frame to start with. I'll just take one, and after that, we for a sign in page, what is the things that you think of when you think of sign in? You think you need a username or an email ID maybe to sign in with, and then you need a password, and we need fields to enter those two values, and that can be done by making using a rectangle. You want the fields to be the main focus of the page that you're designing, so it will be placed in the center. And as Alan said, we are using the font Satoshi for this design, and we'll add text to let the user know what the field is supposed to have. 1 second.
Yeah, so guys, by the time we are like setting things up, we have a small form. But do you have any questions? Like, if any of you have any questions, we can answer them. Any questions? Cool.
I'm really sorry. There's something wrong with my application for now. So I think Aaron will have to take up both the designs.
Oh, okay. Okay, fine. Just a sec. Let me share my screen again. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I hope you guys can see my screen. Just a second. Yeah. So basically, so Anushri is facing some problems. So I guess we can go together with. We can go like I'll try and help in both the designs. So we'll first design the homepage. Okay. So this is the like the wireframe that I showed you initially. So let's like try to convert this wireframe into like a high fidelity design. So this is a low fidelity model right now, right? So we want to convert this into a high fidelity design. So let's first select a frame. Okay, so how do you select a frame in Figma? So there are two ways. One is using a shortcut. So you can click F and you can select the frame. Otherwise, you can just go to this option here and you can select your frame. I'll go to phone because we're making mobile applications. So phone, you go to 13 Pro Max. So that's one that I like to use. Yeah. So this is so we have like a basic empty frame over here, right? So let's just start with the design. So what I do normally is I round out the corners of the frame just to make it look a little more. So this is the rounding tool. So you just have to select your frame that you want to work on, and then this is the rounding tool over here. So you have a corner radius which you can increase. I like to keep it around 30. Yeah, that's fine. That should do. So we'll work on this. This is our page that we can work on. So let's start with it. So basically over here we have our username, right? So this is a text. So we can write text. So we can write text on this option over here, right? That's the text. Just have to select it, and I'll write my own name, or just select Satoshi font, and I'll write. Okay, let's put Homer Simpson for the Simpson. Cool. Now as you can see, it's really huge. So let's bring down the size a bit. Control A, bring down the size. Let's bring it down a little bit more. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good, right? So that's the name. That's our username, and I want to like lay emphasis on it. So let's like try to like make it a bit bold, maybe. So we can select in Satoshi we have like 4 font faces. There's regular, we have medium, we have bold and black. So I'll go with maybe bold, or we can go with black. Yeah, bold. Bold looks good. We'll go with the bold. So that's my username. So that's one thing done. Next is level. So how do we go about putting in a level, right? So let's say I use a circle. So I use an ellipse. So this is the ellipse tool. So you can basically from this using the shape tool, you can choose you want to put in a rectangle, you want to put in a line, you want to put an arrow, an ellipse, a polygon, a star, etc., etc., etc. Right. So I have chosen a circle, and I'm gonna like maybe put in the color light green, white green. White green looks good. And yeah, I'll just keep that here. I'll put a stroke. Stroke is basically the outline. So we'll just give it a stroke of which color? Maybe light green. Yeah, light green looks good. And we'll just tone that down. So we have that. Yeah, that looks good. And we'll just put like some text, some random text. For now, we'll just put some random text. S1, for example, shows like silver one or something like. It's up to decide like later on. So we'll just keep that there, center it. Yeah, so we have that. I think we can make it a bit smaller because it's a bit big. And we'll reduce the font size of that. 15, 14, I think that's good. Cool. So I think that looks like somewhat okay. We'll just change the color of the text as well. We'll make it light green. Cool. So I like how that looks. That looks good according to me. Next, let's go to these top navigation items, right? So how do we get these icons? So I want to put icons here. Okay, so like how do I work with icons and how do I get them? So basically we can go to a website called Flat Icon. Over there you can get like many icons for free, but that is also a lot of work, right? So we don't want to do that. So what we can also do is we can use plugins. So what I mostly do is use a plugin called Iconify, which will give you access to a large number of icons, right? So in order to get a plugin, you can just go to this option over here, which is plugins resources, and you can go to plugins option, the plugins option, and you can write the name of the plugin. So in my case, it's Iconify. So we can see Iconify here, right? So I'll just run it. Yeah, so this is the Iconify plugin that we have for Figma. So this is very good as like we can get all the icons that we need, all the icons in various different for different aspects, right? So for example, the first one is barcode. So I want something related to a barcode. I'll just write barcode, enter it, and we have some nice ones here. So I want to keep my design system is a bit like as we saw before, it's a bit like funky kind of. So I don't want to use these ones because I think they will look bad personally. So I will like to go with maybe this one. So this one looks good. I like this one. So we'll just click on it and click import icon. I hope you can see it. That's the import icon. So that's done. Cool. So we have that. So let's just keep that here. Let's increase the size a tad bit. Oh, keep that here. And in order to increase the size, like while maintaining the ratio, just have to hold your shift key down and then increase the size accordingly. So I'll just keep it like that, 22. That looks good. Yeah, so that's good. I'll just keep that there for now. We can adjust it later on. So the next one is checklist, right? So I'll again go to the plugin. So once you already have that plugin, once you've run it once, you can get it over here. So these are the plugins that you have recently used, right? So you can just right click, go to plugins, and I have Iconify as the most recent plugin that I used. You can see many more that I normally use. We can have a look into those later on, some other day maybe. So yeah, so then we have a checklist. So let's just write checklist. Forgive the caps, but okay, so that's something. We have few icons here, but I don't. Should we use these? What else can we write? So if you want a checklist, what else can we write? Maybe we can write a clipboard. Yeah, see, I like this design more. So I basically would go with something like this or like this. Keep a check of your like what you're doing. Let's go with this. I like this one. So let's import it again. Where is it imported? Yeah, it's here. So try to maintain the the size of all the icons that you're using. So this and this like have to be like somewhat the same size, at least to the eyes, right? So let's like adjust that a bit. Yeah, that looks good. Fine. So that's done. Next, I would want an account. So for account, in my perspective, it should be like the image of the user, right? So let's just say this handsome guy here is the user, Homer Simpson. So let's duplicate this. In order to get this image, you just have to drag and drop it to the Figma file. It's as simple as that. Okay. So like I just dragged this image from like after downloading it. I just dragged it into the Figma file. Then what we can do is Control D to duplicate it. So I selected it and then I Control D, and we have two right now, right? So that's done. So now since that is done, I'll just reduce the size a bit. Yeah, cool. And I'll keep this here. So it looks like that. But now, as you can see, it's like a bit doesn't go with the flow. Like it's looking a bit odd there, right? It's like not very good to look at. So what we also saw is something called the corner radius, which is the rounding tool, right? So I'll just increase the round of this until I get somewhat a circle. So I have a circle over here with me now. So I'll just reduce the size a bit till I match these sizes a bit more, maybe. Yeah, that looks good. Maybe a bit more. Yeah, so that looks good, right? So I feel that looks good. But now, as you can see, they're not well spaced. So to a keen eye, you'll like notice that it's not like completely well spaced and it's a bit off. So normally what we do when we have items like this, like, side by side, and you want like equivalent spacing between them, what I normally do is use an auto layout. So you just have to select all these three items, right click, and then go to auto layout. So now what has happened here is an automatic padding is added between each of these items. And now if you notice, like they all are perfectly aligned and perfectly, well symmetric and stuff like that. So that's a very good thing about that particular tool. I'll just arrange it to make sure that this distance is equal to this distance over here. So you want to maintain the overall look, right? So in order to find out the relative position of a particular, item, you just have to click on that item and hold the Alt key down. So when holding the Alt key down, I notice that, okay, there's a 29, pixel space here, and there's a 25 pixel space here. So I'll just shift this 4 more times there, and we have 25, 25. Fine. So I'm happy with that. That looks good. So we are done with the top part, right? So let's go to the bottom part now. So basically, we have a nav bar. So a nav bar, just have to select. So you go to this tool, the shape tool, right click, select rectangle, because we want a rectangle. We don't want a circle anymore. We want a rectangle. So I'll just select the rectangle, and I'll just make a long, big rectangle over there. Just make it a bit more broad. That looks good. Fine. And I want to like keep the color blue, so I'll just select maybe a dark blue. Yeah, that looks good. So that's my bottom nav bar that we have. Then we have some icons for it again. So again, we'll go to icons. I'll just speed up this process because we've already done it once. So I'll just go here, go to home, and this one looks good. Let's select it. Let's import it. Close this. Just put it there for now. Again, we'll go to, we'll open up plugins, Iconify. Let's go diet. Just a sec. Let's go diet. Okay, diet's not there. Fine. So let's search food. Food. Okay, so we have a lot of stuff here. Let me use this apple because we want to go healthy, not this cake or something. So let's select this, and it should have been placed somewhere. Yeah, that's there. So just get that, place it over here. So we have the apple. Next, we need workout. So let's put workout. Let's select this. Then we have profile. So we'll just go to profile, and I'll select this one. Fine. So we have got basically all the icons that we need. we have profile here, we have our exercise here, right? Cool. So once again, remember to maintain the size, general size that you're going to use. Okay. So I want it to look, okay. Yeah, that's in the correct order. Now I'll just select all of them and collectively put their size over here. Okay. So we have the width and height. I'll like to lock it and put it maybe 20. So now, as you can see, all of their sizes are, the same, but they're a bit too small. So let's try and increase that a bit. That looks good. Fine. Now, as I mentioned earlier, when things are, together like in a linear manner, in a linear fashion, I like to put them in auto layout. So I'll just right click, add auto layout, and we have all of those, straight, like nicely put for us. So that's, you can put it over there. I want the color to be maybe white because it doesn't look good right now. So that looks better. And I want the padding between these items to increase. So as you can see, there are like 4 icons that I've placed, and this pink region that you can see in between is like the padding. So I would like to increase that. So this is the padding. You can increase the spacing between items over here through this. So I'll just like increase it a bit, maybe around there. That looks good. And I'll just like center it. So center it, you can just do that. That looks good. I think I'll reduce the sizes a tad bit. So I'll just go down a bit. Yeah, that looks good. And then tweak the auto layout again. Nice, fine. I'm happy with that. Let's check the position again. Remember to check the position, relative position. Click on the frame and hold the Alt key down. So now you can see that there's 56 pixels over here and 62 pixels over here. We just, yeah. So there's 50 over here and 62 here. So I'll just slide a bit to the left. 54, 58, 56, 56. Yeah, so this is perfect. So I like that. I'm happy with that. So let's move on. So we have a percentage to goal here. So what exactly can we show here? So one thing we can show is like a bar chart, or we can show something like a graph, or in my opinion, what would look good is like a progress bar to show. That's the most easy for the user to understand, right? Like you don't have to read charts or stuff like that. You can just see how you are going, like how you're proceeding to your goal based on that particular progress bar. So instead of keeping it linear, let's make a circular progress bar, like which shows our progress. So you must have seen it in Udemy and courses like that. You have your progress in a circular progress bar, right? So let's try to make that. So for that, again, we need a circle. So how do you get a circle? You go to the shape tool, you right click, you select ellipse, and you have a circle with you. So this is a circle, right? So I want to keep it like around here, maybe increase the size a bit because I want the progress bar to look a bit big. To center items, you have your aligning tools over here in the top right hand side corner. So I'll just center align this. So good, that's aligned. I think I'll make it a tad bit bigger and center align it again. Good, I think I'm happy with that. So that looks good. So now what I can do is maybe, yeah, so let's work on the converting this into a circular progress bar, right? So what we have to do is in order to get our desired result, we can add a stroke. A stroke is like the outside boundary, as I had said. So I'll just increase it maybe around 13, 22, 21. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. Okay, so we have that a stroke with us ready. So as you can see, this is already filled in with a particular color. So you can see a color inside, which we don't want. We just want a circular progress bar which shows you your progress around it, right? So I'll just remove the fill. So in order to remove the fill, this is fill and we have stroke. Stroke is the outline and fill is what's inside. So I'll just remove the fill for now. And as you can see, the fill is gone, right? So once that is done, let's proceed with making, the progress bar. Yeah. So so this is the arc. So you can choose making an arc on an ellipse that you draw. Okay, so basically, if I hover over this point, as you can see over here, and then drag it, you can see that you're getting an arc made for you, right? So this is a uh, a pie chart kind of thingy. So yeah, you have that. So then you can adjust your ratio that you want to keep in from this. So I'll just take that all the way out, and we have this with us. So this is something that we have generated by using arcs. I'll go through it again. So we have a circle. This is our arc tool. We'll just make the arc tool around here because I want to show the percentage complete is around 15%. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I'll just, once that is done, I'll just increase the ratio. Nice. So we have 25% of emptiness. So once that is done, I'll just change this color because I don't like this color right now. Let me make it okay. We'll change it a bit out later. So okay. So what else can we do? So this is what we have right now. Maybe I want to show something here as well, right? Like I don't want to keep it just like empty over here on the top right hand side, first quadrant, right? So I'll just duplicate this, Control D again, select it, Control D, and rotate it a bit. Okay, now you might not notice, but I'll just show you. Half of it is like this, and half of it is like this, right? So the two are rotated like in order to fit each other perfectly. Now what I'll do is I'll select one color and change the color a bit to make the difference more well known. So I'll just rotate this. Yeah. Okay. So that's what we wanted. Cool. In order to like move layers over each other, you can either do it manually from here. So over here I have one ellipse and the other ellipse, as you can see written over here. I can just drag and bring one over the other, or I can just right click and make it move under or move over, bring to front, bring to back, and stuff like that. So this is what we have right now with us. Okay. So now what else can we do to make this even more better? So let me just select this, for example, and go to, so in this stroke we have certain options. So if you select these three dots and you go to endpoints, you can choose if you want it rounded or if you wanted just normal. So let's keep this as it is and let's make this the inner one rounded, right? So let's try and make it rounded. This as well. Yeah. Cool. So one thing you can do is you can control the sweep. So this point shows you the sweep, and this point shows you the start. So start is basically like you're just rotating it, and sweep is basically you're decreasing the size of it per se. So I'll just do that as well. I want it to look something like maybe this. I like that. Fine. So I'm happy with that. Now let's work on the color. So this is not looking that good right now. Let me just reduce the Control A, select both, and reduce the stroke. Once we have done that, let me maybe change the color. So this inner one, let me put it dark blue or maybe bright blue. Yeah, bright blue looks better in my opinion. Then we'll go to the lower one. Let's make it white. Okay, now it's not very visible. So let's add an effect. Okay, so here let's learn something called drop shadows. So drop shadow is basically a shadow behind like the frame. So it gives it a certain a good look, right? So this we have over here. We have added a drop shadow. Let me tweak the color of the drop shadow. So you can just select the color from here. I prefer a pinkish tone, maybe something around there. X, you can move the shadow on the X and Y axis. So I'll just do that as well. Increase the spread a bit. Increase the blur a bit. I think about just about there is fine. Let's decrease the spread a bit. Cool. So we have that ready with us. So once we have like basically this ready, we want to show what this is conveying, right? So for example, I want this to convey a percentage to goal, right? So let's put some text in between maybe. For example, let's put maybe 8%. 8% to set goal. Let's center align this. Let's increase the size of 8. Let's make this a bit, the font a bit. Let's not keep it bold. We want to keep it like sublime. So let's select, lesser font. Increase the spacing between the two. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. Nice. So once we have that ready, I hope we have time. Just a sec. Okay, so we're running a bit short on time. So let me just quickly go through the next part. Okay, so we have a current workout plan and a recommended workout plan. So I'll just copy it from here because we're low. So I'll just select it, Control D to copy, and just bring it here. Okay. So again, we're choosing Satoshi. We're choosing medium, and so then let's work on the cards. So we basically want 2 cards over here. So for those, again, we see this is a rectangle. So I'll select the rectangle tool, make a quick big rectangle over here. I'll round off the edges. Let me make it a bit, I think around that's good. Once I do that, maybe we need a title for what this card stands for. So let me put a title over here. So maybe let's say full body workout. Let's keep the W big. Cool. So that's good. Let me keep that there. And we need maybe some statistics about what this workout is about, like how long it's going to take and how many exercises it has. Let's just say it has 11 exercises. Let's just say it's a total of 32 minutes. Let's just say it runs for 21 days. So this is what we have to follow, right? We'll follow it for 21 days and it'll help us in a certain way. So another thing I want to put is maybe a button, maybe to start working on that. So I'll just select again the rectangle tool, make a rectangle, make it a bit smaller, keep that there. For now, I'll just keep some random color. We'll work on it later on. We'll make it a bit smaller, maybe. That looks good. I'll round it off because I love rounding stuff off. So after that, I'll just put a continue because this is that stuff that you're currently working on. So a continue makes sense, right? So that's that. After that, maybe show the progress of this particular workout that you've chosen. So I'll just select this one, this one, this one. So you can control shift. I mean, you can hold shift and select multiple items together in order to like multiply select different items, and then control G to group them together. So now, as you can see, these are different items, right? So if I select, for example, this, it's not sticking together with the rest. So I'll just select all using holding my shift down, and I'll control G to group them. So now if I move this, you can see it's moving together, right? So now I'll control D in order to duplicate it. So now I have this duplicated. I'll just make that a bit smaller. Don't worry about the ratio and stuff like that because size of text and all is different. So I'll just reduce the stroke over there, reduce the size of text here. Just a sec. Yeah. Maybe keep it 16. Or maybe smaller, maybe 11. Good. Reduce the interline spacing. Let's just avoid text over here. Make this a bit more bigger. Cool. I like how that looks. So I'll just bring that here. Again, to bring it on top, you just have to right click, bring to front. So that's what one of the two options that I said, right? So we'll just reduce the thing again. So we have this ready with us. This is our basic, like how we want it to look. Okay. So I want this to have a good color because right now it's looking horrible. So let's keep it light blue maybe. Let's keep the button bright blue. Let's maybe reduce the medium, or is medium fine? Yeah, I think medium is fine. So we'll keep it medium. We'll make this maybe regular. We'll reduce the size of this to around 12 and this to 14 and this to maybe 13, and we'll just place this. So again, remember to check the padding and the spacing. Just have to select a element, and to find relative position, you just have to hold down your alt key. So I'll just check this. This is 27.19. This is 27. So that's within error, right? So I'll just leave it as it is. So we have this. This is not centered yet. So I'll just center this. Perfect. Not perfect. Wait. Perfect. Fine. So now we have this. This is one card that we designed. So I don't like keep designing. So I'll just group this entire thing as one. So I'll just control. Sorry. Hold shift down and select all the items. Then control G in order to group them. Now this is a group. Once this is a group, I'll just hit control D and duplicate it. So now we have two cards. I'll just reduce the spacing here. Move this a bit up. Cool. So I want these two cards look a bit different because now it's a lot of blue on the screen. So maybe the next color that we had chosen was green. So let's try something with green. Let's keep the background as maybe, let's say, light green. Let's keep these dark blues as maybe light green. That looks good. I feel that looks okay. Okay, so now this is taking up a lot of space. So let's just move it a bit up. Let's move all of this a bit up. Perfect. So I think we are getting there, right? So I hope you all are understanding. If you have any questions, you can like put up those questions whenever you want. So this is like a basic structure of the app, right? And also, let's just, since it's looking a bit empty, like over here, let's just put some text. So I'll just write welcome here, maybe. Welcome. And for the meme, let's just keep it Homer Simpson. Let's increase the size a bit. Okay, 24. 24 is a lot. Make it 20. That's also a lot. Make it 18. Good. And that looks good. So I'll just move this a bit down. Move this here. Cool. So in a short period of time, we have like designed a screen. So this is what basically you have to follow for all the screens, right? So number one, as you know, is user research. Number two is the wireframing. So as you can see here, we have a small wireframe. Number three is making a high fidelity model using, all the details that you've gotten. So that's a very, this is the best way to like work on a design. So it's best way to, get work done effectively, and it reduces your error and it reduces, the amount of rework that you need to do later on. So I think due to the shortage of time, I think we can like, we were planning on showing you the making of one more screen. Should we show them, Anushri, or should we like just show them the final design?
I think we can just go for a simple screen. I'll take it up.
Okay, is it working for you now?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Fine. Anushri, you can.
Yeah.
Anushri, you're on mute.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so for the second screen, we'll follow the same steps, mostly the same steps that we did for the first one. We'll start by adding a new frame, and because we used iPhone 13 Pro Max, we'll use the same one this time, and we'll round out the corners. Now, for the sign in page, what you majorly need is the logo of your app. And what we haven't explored so far is importing elements that you have already but aren't like to be made in Figma. So that can be done by placing an image. The control for like the short key for it is Control Shift K. And you can go through your files and place it. Now you can hold Shift to make sure it doesn't distort the aspect ratio of what your image is supposed to look like. Now, the main goals of the sign in page are again to have fields for email and password. We'll insert rectangles for that. Now, instead of having a fill, let's just have a stroke of that color and have it filled white. Now we'll add text to show what this field is supposed to have. Because we've not gone for much of a black in this color scheme, let's keep it at gray. You can do that by reducing the opacity of the text that you've chosen. Another way to align objects, as I just did, is just select the two objects that you want to align and use the options that have been given in the design panel. This is for aligning it horizontally and this is for aligning it vertically. Now we'll also add an icon. I use the plugin Elements mostly. Now, another way to make sure that the image that you're inserting is exactly in the position you want is adding another frame. I have added a frame of where I want the image to be, and then I'll just place the image. Now, as Aaron taught you, we'll group these elements using Control G and duplicate it with this. And then just change the text to password. And we'll place another image for the password group. Sometimes if you don't get it with one plugin, you might have to look for different options. Now we'll just align the text to the icon. Yeah. Now after entering email and password, a most common necessity is to have a forgot password option, because most of us don't tend to forget password some point or the other. So for that, we'll just add a simple text which will lead you to resetting your password or the options you have to find out what your password are. I'm just quickly going through this so that, because you've already understood a much more complicated screen, so this should not be too much of a problem. But if you have any doubts, please feel free to stop me. Here we'll have the enter button, or normally what we call the sign in button. This is the color picker, because we already have another screen designed with the same color scheme. It's easy to just pick your colors from there instead of having to decide the colors every time. Now, it will be hard to use these buttons because the size of your text box is greater than what your actual text is. And the solution to that is just auto with the text. Now we can prototype this screens to flip between each other. For that, you simply switch to the prototype tab. Now you can see you have little circles appearing on every single element that we have. I can make this sign in page lead to our other screen. Simply click on the circle that is attached to the sign in page and move it to the screen you want it to lead to. And second, we can have our option for sign in here, the profile icon, lead to our sign in page. This is a simple prototype that we're doing just to flip between these two pages. And we can see this as a final prototype by seeing it in the final page. 1 second. So here simply you have a demo of what your app will look like, the page will look like, and when I click on sign in, it goes to the other page. And on clicking on the profile icon, it moves back to the sign in page. This is a simple prototype which can obviously be made more complicated by having screens for what the homepage leads to, what your profile is actually like, what your fitness plan is like. All of these options, all of these buttons will lead to different pages, which you will have to design as a part of your simulation. So yes, that is a brief on how to prototype and how to do a simple screen.
Yeah. So, guys, just to let you know, we have the entire file with us. Okay. So we basically right now designed two screens together. So as you can see my screen, these are two screens that we designed right now together. So if you spend the time, if you have more time to spend, and right now we did it over a period of half an hour or so, right? 45 minutes or something. So if you have more time, if you have like if you have more time on the project, then you can spend more time to make these things even more perfect, and you can make even more screens and make the entire functionality. So this is something that we have over here for you all. So this is something that we worked on. This is the entire design of the application. So we have our splash screen, then we have some onboarding screens. So you know how onboarding screens works, right? So you just have to swipe or click the next button, and you have your sign in and sign up. You have your basic homepage. You have your profile page. You have your activity planner, and when you click this, you can choose you want to add blood pressure, add weight, add activity. So these are basically things that you have to plan. So the entire wireframing and user planning and all of that stuff, looking at different apps and getting ideas and stuff like that, you can work on all of that. So supposing someone clicks the barcode scanner, you come to this page where you can scan barcodes and get how many calories they have and stuff like that. Your diet, which is in the nav bar, this is your diet page, and you have your exercise page. So this is the third part in the nav bar. So you want to do a lower body workout or upper body workout, a full body workout, or weight loss, etc., something like that. And finally, you also have videos. So for example, if you click on full body workout, what does it have? So it has a video, and it has steps on how to do it and how many you have to do, and a timer and stuff like that. So this is basically your entire project. And if I click on the prototype which Anushree just showed you, so you know the prototype is basically like showing the end user or the developer how the app is in play, right? So you don't have to explain in detail everything. You just click the prototype. This is how we have prototype. As you can see, it's a bit of a mess. It's a complete web over here. So it gets complicated. The more the screens, the more complicated the prototyping will get. But obviously, if you, for example, play this, you can see our entire application. I'll not spend too much time on it because Anushree has already shown you all, for the previous two screens, it'll be the same. So this is our first move it. You click next, you click next, you can move on. So let me just sign in. So this is our homepage. We have our exercise, our profile page. We have our barcode scanner. We have our activity planner where you want to add stuff, and also these are basically this is more intensive prototyping. So we'll have that maybe UI UX 4.0 if you all do make sure to check it out if it's coming soon. To make sure to be present there, because we'll be showing on your all how to work on prototyping and get all of this stuff working and stuff like that. So yeah, that is it from our side. I hope you all enjoyed the session. If you have any doubts, you can shoot right now. We enjoyed taking the session and preparing for you all, so it was good from our side as well. So if you have any questions, do shoot out. How to add transition effects? Okay, so I'll just show you that quickly. Just a second. Yeah, so Ibrahim, I think you asked the question. Just a sec. Yeah, so how to add transition effects. So basically, we showed you prototyping, right? So for example, if you want to go from this create account button, or when you click the sign in button, you want to go to your home page. Let's say that is what you want to do, right? So we'll just click the sign in button, and when you click the prototype option over here on the top, you'll see small plus button over here, right? Just have to drag it to this home. And then once you do that, you can add interactions. So for example, we've already done that over here. So we have dragged this and we have put it over here. So I'll just do it again. I'll just drag this. As you can see, we have a free arrow here. I'll just link it to the home page. Now, once you link it to the home page, you have certain interaction details. So on drag, while hovering, while pressing, mouse enter, mouse leave. So basically, for example, if you click while hovering, then whenever you hover over this button, it will proceed to this screen. If you click, mouse leave, then whenever your mouse leaves this button, it will proceed to that screen. Or you can select different options, key, gamepad, and stuff like that. Smart animate. These are different types of animation. So you can move in, move out, push, slide in, slide out. Smart animate is basically what we used over here. So all of this will just kind of dissolve into what design we have over here. So that is the prototyping. We have how you want to ease in or you want to ease out, how quickly you want to do it. You want it to bounce, you want it to be slow. You can set the delay between these two transitions. and stuff like that over here in the prototype tab on interactions. That's cool, right? I hope your question is answered. It is, right? Who was that? Got it. Nice. Chalo. Anyone else has any questions? You're free to ask right now. For different devices, do I need to make pages for different aspect ratios every time? Okay, so you don't have to make different designs for different devices, but you'll have to make different designs for iOS and Android. So they both have their own design system. So supposing you're going to make a design, then you have to like take into account what the design systems that are followed by iOS and designed, the design, what do you call, matrices and the design, what do you call, material design, standards that are followed by Android as well. So using that, you have frames like I showed you. Wait, I'll show you. So we don't have to make for each and every device. That is up to the developers to make it, like applicable for like support different platforms. But we have to design it separately for Android and iOS. So if you go to frame, you have iPhone and you have Android, right? So basically, if you're designing for Android, you choose Android. If you're choosing design for iPhone, you choose iPhone. So after that,
And also, if you by devices you mean like laptop or like tablet devices versus mobile devices, yes, because the aspect ratios are completely different. The positioning for all your different elements are going to be different. So you will have to design two different
correct.
frames for that.
Correct.
But
So,
within mobile devices, you need only iOS and Android.
correct. I hope that answered your question. Was that Avinash? Sorry, Avinish. Sorry. Nice. Cool. Any other questions, guys? If you have any questions, you can shoot them out. So if you want to like if you're not from this club, if you have any doubts regarding UI UX or something, do feel free to ping me or Anushri. We'll be there to like clear those doubts. And yeah, keep an eye out for next. Like I think we'll keep on having events, so keep an eye out for the events that are coming up. Yeah, we hope we see you there as well. And yeah, that's all. Cheers. Bye bye, guys. Thank you for joining.